Check 1, 2.
Go! Curious about real estate? Yes! Then you've come to the right place. Get the knowledge you need. Get over the fear and get started. This is the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show with your host, Michael Quarles.
Hello, everybody. Michael Quarles with Podcast 63. Here we go. We have 5 questions sent in by investors like yourself. And remember, if you have an investor question, send it to support@bsffacademy.com. One more time, support@bsffacademy.com. Question number 1. How do you handle a seller when they are questioning your actual physical location when they see that your return address is a UPS store? Great question. I just let them know that I try not to do business out of my house, to have strangers come knock on my front door of my home. And I find that the UPS store that I use is the most convenient to receive mail. I meet my sellers there when we have notaries to sign, because that's an important part of what we do when I buy your house. It's the most convenient location for me and most of my sellers, and that's why I chose that. Now, keep in mind, real estate investors, there is a better alternative to a UPS store. There's a hugely better alternative than a UPS store. So let me share that alternative with you. They're called executive offices. And most all towns have an executive office, location setup kind of thing. What an executive office is some guy or gal has gone into a commercial building, office complex kind of thing. They've rented 4, 5, 6, 7, 10,000 square feet, and they've subdivided that square footage into a reception area, several conference rooms, and then office space, like these little 12 by 12, 11 by 10 little office spaces with desks, couple chairs, telephone kind of stuff, computer stations, that kind of thing. Now, they charge you for that room and the desk and the chairs and that kind of stuff. And it can be expensive, $600, $700, $800 a month. But here's what's really cool. Here's what's really cool, guys. They also have services where they'll just collect your mail. Just like the UPS store does. You can use their physical address. But here's the cool part. When a seller and you need to get together, part of their service allows you to use a conference room. So now here's your sellers. The seller's going to meet you down at this executive office place. The receptionists know you by name. So when the seller goes up there and they say, yeah, I'm here to see Michael Quarles. Oh, you're here to see Michael Quarles? Well, terrific. If you would like to have a seat or some coffee and some water, I can get that for you. And let me get Michael up here for you. Now, I'm already there because I'm always early for my appointments. So I walk out of this office complex. I walk out and I greet my seller. I said, follow me. Let's go to the conference room. We'll take care of all the documents that we need to take care of. It's highly professional. They have notaries there. They have copy machines there. They have telephones there. They have everything you need to be professional that the UPS store doesn't. And so that's like a couple $100. I know. It's more than the $20 or so a month that the UPS store costs. But here's the deal, guys. I know on average I'm making bucket loads of money per transaction, okay? I'm trying to make 52 grand. I like 27 at the end of the day. If that's the number I'll get, that's the number I want. So if I'm expecting that I want to make $27,000 and sometimes 52, can I afford an extra $180 for an executive office concept so where I can use their address, use their reception area, use their coffee, meet my clients there so I can use their conference room, so I can look professional, so I can be professional and do business? Is it worth $180? I say so. I know, I don't know everything, but I'm thinking, yes. Yeah. So what is $180 difference? That's $3 a day. So you guys might get withdrawals, but stop your Starbucks. Just every other day, don't have a Starbucks, and you can afford this thing. Okay? That's all it is. Or every other day, don't drink a beer, and you can afford this thing, and you can be professional. It's that simple. But that's how you handle it. And if you don't want to be professional, UPS store. Question number 2. If a potential deal has no comparable active listings in the area, should that be a concern? Yes. It's one of the hardest things to figure out is when you can't compare something to something else. Here's the litmus test. Here's what you do though. Okay, if you don't have any comps, then you've searched and you've called Uncle Mike over here, or if you're my coaching student, you've called me. We've used the tools that I have because I've got some really cool tools that I can look at valuations all across the country. And we can't figure it out. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to call Potential. We're going to call Caldwell Banker. We're going to call Century 21. We're going to call Remax in that local area. And we're going to get some price opinions from people. They don't have comps either, but they know their area better than you do because you're maybe brand new in the investment world, and they're maybe brand new too, but hopefully not. So we're going to call them and we're going to ask their opinion. Maybe they don't have an opinion. Maybe their opinion is just like ours. I don't know. If that's what you get from all of them, here's what you do. How much would you pay for a piece of property not knowing the value? Would you pay $1? Would that be unreasonable? Maybe it would be. Would you pay $2? Would you pay $5,000? What's the amount that you would pay that you knew at the end of the day you could cause yourself to make money even though there's no underlying indications or indicators of value? There has to be something in our gut, right? I mean, like you go and you find something and you go, I don't know what it's worth, but what would it be worth to me? Well, I would spend X dollars. Well, if that's your gut and that's what you feel, well, fall forward. Here's the deal. You're going to do your inspections. You're going to have, inspectors go out there from contractors' perspectives. You may have an appraiser go out there if you can't find any comps, and for $350, $375, $400, $475, whatever it is, you get a professional opinion and let them worry about how to figure out what it's worth. They're going to come back to give you their opinion, but at least it's better than nothing. And if it's like grossly undervalued and you've overpaid, well, you kick the deal. And you do that. You have to be responsible to yourself, and sometimes you just have to do that. Great question.
Thanks for listening to Buy, Sell, Fix, Flip. We'll be right back. Are you running out of leads? It's time you tried Yellow Letters at yellowletters.com. Get motivated seller leads through yellow letters, postcards, zip letters, typed professional letters, greeting cards, door hangers, and business cards. Yellow Letters is a full-service marketing company created with your success in mind. Get the personal attention you need to get your direct mail campaign started and get in touch at yellowletters.com.
And we are back in 3, 2, 1.
Question number 3. I've gotten a few calls from people who received my Yellow Letters who called to find out what I was about. I explain what I do and how I buy houses from anyone, including people who can't sell to traditional buyers. The broker then asked me if they found houses and referred them to me, what would I pay them as referral fee? How do you handle brokers when they call you? Do you pay a broker a larger referral fee than you pay a non-broker? No. My referral fee is $500. That's it. Not buying something off the MLS. Had a great opportunity last week. Boy, sometimes your principles are challenged, or challenge may be the wrong word, but I had a broker bring me some opportunity last week. And, the greed side of me said, man, this is some good opportunity. This looks really cool. Man, he brought me 3 properties, look really good. And I wanted to do it. The greed side of me said, do it. But then the logic side of me said, what are you doing? Are you doing what you say everybody else shouldn't do? Or what's going on, Mike? So I started really thinking about, and I know I'm talking to myself, guys, I apologize. But I started really thinking about why I don't use real estate agents to buy property. And here's why. I don't care how good the deal is. If I were to take the 6 or 7% of what the deal was going to cost me, or, times the deal, what it was going to cost me in commission that I was going to pay. If I would have just taken the commission that I would pay that realtor and put it in marketing, because I understand marketing, man, I'm a marketing gorilla. How many more deals would I have gotten? So I don't care how good the deal looks. What it's doing is it's stealing the opportunity to go do further deals the way I do deals. So rather than just buy one property or 3 properties from this agent, that looked really cool. If I put that marketing out there in the marketplace, I'd probably buy 10. So I got all caught up emotionally. All of a sudden, my greed was going and everything else was going. And then I came back to reality and go, man, I want to buy 10 houses. I want to control the seller. I want to control the situation. I want to be one-on-one with the seller. I do not want a real estate agent who can sometimes screw stuff up. There's some really good ones out there, and you know who you are. If you're a good real estate agent, you know who you are. But you've got to shake your head, yes, up and down, Mike. There are some not so good real estate agents out there that you deal with. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the person who never makes phone calls back, who doesn't do the disclosures, has no clue on how to negotiate what is required to be negotiated with the seller when your buyer needs something else done. You know what I'm talking about, Mr. Real Estate Agent Professional. And so, because I don't know if I'm always going to get a professional, I'm going to just take my marketing dollar and go buy some more houses. Because I can buy more houses without a real estate agent involved than I can with one. Now, with that said, I'm selling everything I have through the real estate agent, through the MLS. Man, I want them to put those buyers in their cars, and I want them to drive them to my house, and I want them to sell the house. I want them to get competing offers. I want my houses sold, and I'm going to use real estate agents because it's the highest, most effective way to sell a house. But not doing it on a purchase, and I'm not going to pay them more than the $500 referral fee. So that's just how it is. Great question. Question number 4. How do you handle a seller when they demand to know your last name before discussing anything with you? Do you disclose your last name? No. It's not important. Not important. Because if you're going to let someone say, I'm not going to talk to you unless you tell me your last name. You tell them your last name. Well, I'm not going to talk to you until you tell me your address. Tell them your address. Well, I'm not going to talk to you until you... Well, when's it stop? And who's in control of the conversation? We as real estate professionals are in control of the conversation. If we give that control away, then they have to give it back to us before we have it again. Not going to do it. I have my routine. I don't have a single Alex or a single Ryan that work for me, but everybody here is Ryan and Alex. Pretty much everybody me. I would be an Alex if I answered the phone, or Ryan if I started negotiating, but I don't have any of those people. So no, we don't disclose. It's company policy that we don't disclose our last name because it's appropriate. Especially with all the cyberbullying and all the cyber stuff that's going on and the stalking. Man, it makes sense. And if some idiot wants to know your last name, well, that's what they are. It doesn't matter to the transaction. My money doesn't have, well, it does have a last name. The last name of the president's face that's on my money, that's the last name. But other than that, they just want my money. They don't need my last name. My last name has nothing to do with the money that I give them. I'm getting all fired up here. Question number 5. It's a scenario question, and you guys know how much I love scenario questions. Buyer and seller agree on a sales price and sign a purchase agreement. Both parties agree to close in 60 days. Let's say the house is listed in the MLS the next day. Whoa, that's a great way to do it. And the house is purchased 45 days later. Since the deed never transferred, would the investor just assign the contract and get paid a fee for their profit? No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You cannot turn a wholesale deal into an assignment deal. Shame on you. A wholesale deal is where you buy a piece of property, you go all the way through escrow, you close escrow on it. Now, you sometimes can do simultaneous close, concurrent close, those kinds of things. But you go all the way through your 60 days, and let's face it, if you have a buyer that wants to buy in 45 and you have a seller that wants to buy in 60 days, if you're such a great negotiator that you got you were able to negotiate those two people to do what you want them to do, I'm sure you can figure out how to get one to go to 45 or the other one to go to 60. I'm positive you can figure that one out. But I wouldn't want to take my buyer, and I'd actually want my buyer to go to like 65 days because I don't want the stress with my closing company, man. They don't need it. They work hard enough already. Why should we be stressing people out trying to simultaneous close, concurrent closes, when all we have to do is get a buyer to go just 5 days later? That's all you need. But don't assign your contract. My goodness. I hope I don't get a lot of grief for that one, but it's real important that when you understand wholesaling, the art of wholesaling is you get a contract signed. Most of the time you're going to get that contract signed seller financing, sub-2 financing, or even some option financing. You're going to give the seller minimal or no money down to buy the property. Your vehicle of seller financing, sub-2 financing, are going to cover any of those seller proceeds or however the seller is going to get compensated. They're going to get compensated in the future. So what you need in most all transactions is the ability to pay closing costs. Now, I know that closing costs to purchase are very, very minimal. Very minimal. So, if you sell a couple $100,000 house, maybe you got to have a couple $1,000s laying around. Well, we got to be in business. We have to have enough money to be in business. But if you've orchestrated the contract correctly, you don't have to pay the seller anything. The seller can wait their 5 days because that's all you need them to wait in most cases. And then when you close on your buyer side, all of those costs come out of your net proceeds. And you get your $2,000 back from when you had to pay it out 5 days earlier. So it's not that difficult, but man, if you guys don't know how to orchestrate seller financing, sub-2 financing, option financing, man, get into the coaching program. It'll set you free. Anyway, guys, I really enjoyed today. It's been a day since it's actually been 3 days. I was sick on Friday, so I haven't recorded a podcast in 3 days. I was hungry to do a podcast. Maybe I'll do another one later on our daily deal. Anyway, you guys have a great day. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Get more info and stay in touch at michaelquarles.com.